Hello friends, in this video we will be learning classification based on symmetry for complex signal. Let us begin. Now let us start with classification based on symmetry. In last video we have seen classification based on symmetry, but that was valid only for real signals where it gets classified into three categories, that is even signals, odd signals and neither even nor odd signal. But when signal becomes a complex signal, how do you identify whether the signal is real or complex? It is very simple. Whenever you see, let's say a signal is x of t and you have some mathematical expression inside it. In that mathematical expression, if there is absence of j, then the respective signal is called as a real signal. For example, x of t is equal to t, or x of t is equal to t square plus 2t, or x of t is equal to sine t plus cos 3t. In all those signals, there is absence of j. Therefore, all the listed signals just now are real signals. Whereas, let's say if the signal is like this, e to the power j pi by 2 t, in that case, there is a presence of j. Whenever there is a presence of j in signal expression, then the respective signal is said to be a complex signal. So now, if the signal is complex, then we have three types of classification, that is even conjugate, odd conjugate, and again neither even nor odd conjugate. Remember, the first category, which is called as even conjugate, also called as conjugate symmetry. So let us begin with the first classification. X of t, first of all, must be complex signal. Yes, of course it has to be a complex signal, because if x of t is a real signal, then this symmetry comes out to be even symmetry. If the signal is complex, only and only if the signal is complex, then only the respective symmetry would be called as even conjugate symmetry, or it is also called as a conjugate symmetry. Then it should satisfy the following property. Now see to it, the following property: x of minus t equal to x of t, or x of minus n equal to x of n. I'm sure you must have seen this already in even symmetry and odd symmetry. Now the only difference that I'll make over here is this. Since it is not only checking even property, it is also having extra word called as conjugate. So I'll be having a conjugate here. So you don't have to check whether x of minus t equal to x of t. You have to check x conjugate of minus t should become equal to x of t. As well as it is applicable for discrete time signals also. If x conjugate of minus n comes out to be x of n, then we say that the given x of n signal or given x of t signal is even conjugate or conjugate symmetric signal. Same applies to odd symmetry also here. Odd symmetry, as in when it comes to complex signal, we say it is odd conjugate. It is also called as conjugate skew symmetric, or it is also called as conjugate antisymmetric signal. So x of t, first of all, has to be complex signal. Of course, only then this classification is applicable. Should satisfy the following property, which says x of minus t equal to minus of x of t. So only one thing I'll change over here, because this equation refers to only normal odd symmetry when x of t is real. So here I'll add only conjugate because of the extra word conjugate here. So x conjugate of minus t should become minus x of t, or x conjugate of minus n should become minus of x of n. So if you know even property and odd property of signal x of t or signal x of n, provided they are real signals, then it is quite easy to remember this type of properties, right? You have to only add conjugate sign here. And what is meant by neither even conjugate or nor odd conjugate? It means like this. If you do this operation, that is x conjugate of minus t, if it is not equal to plus or minus x of t, because you know that when x conjugate of minus t equal to positive x of t, it is said to be even conjugate signal, and when x conjugate of minus t equals minus of x of t, it comes out to be odd conjugate signal. So when x conjugate of minus t is neither equal to plus x of t or minus x of t, the resulting signal is called as neither even conjugate nor odd conjugate signal. So this is the third category, and as we have already studied in even odd property, the same discussion is applicable here. whenever you are falling in third category, it means the given signal x of t can be expressed into two parts, that is x of even conjugate signal plus x of odd conjugate signal. So this is even conjugate part of x of t, this is odd conjugate part of x of t, and summation of these two will give you complete signal x of t. And let me tell you, this discussion is valid for discrete time signals also. So whenever a discrete time signal, let's say it is neither even conjugate nor odd conjugate, then given x of n can be expressed as sum of even conjugate part of x of n and odd conjugate part of x of n. So let us start with the very first type, that is even conjugate property or conjugate symmetric property. So here I'll give you an example of even conjugate signal. So if you want, let's say your x of n has to be a even conjugate signal, then the first thing is your x of 0 has to be a real value, and let's say we have some value x which is a complex value x and complex value y. Then to satisfy even conjugate property, if you remember what we used to do in even signal, you know that if x of n has to be even signal, then same x has to be there and same y has to be here. In that case, we used to call the given x of n signal as even signal. But here, with minor difference, since it is even conjugate signal, here it will be x conjugate and here it will be y conjugate. And you know that what arrow mark really indicates, that is n equal to 0 position. So let us take one example and I'll prove it. What we have said is correct. So first of all, let us assume some real value at n equal to 0 position. Let us assume 2. Then x and y are some complex values. Let us assume x component as 3 plus 4j, and let us assume y as 2 minus 3j. Is that right? Suppose if you want your x of n to become even conjugate signal, then what should we present here? Of course, complex conjugate of 3 plus 4j, which comes out to be 3 minus 4j. Is that right? And since it is 2 minus 3j, then 2 plus 3j should be present here, which is nothing but a y conjugate. So I'm assuming this is x and this is y. So now I'm claiming that the given x of n signal, which is expressed in sequence form, which is a discrete signal, is a even conjugate signal. But then I need to prove this also, right? So let us prove this x of n is a even conjugate signal. So by property of even conjugate signal, it says that x conjugate of minus n is x of n only. Is that right? So here I'll do two things with x of n. The given x of n, I'll first of all, let's say conjugate it, and then I'll apply time reversal property. You can do it vice versa. First of all, you can have time reversal property, and thereafter also you can conjugate. So in step number 1, I'm going to have x conjugate of. Since we know what is x of n, it is easy to write x conjugate of n. So x conjugate of n is complex conjugate of x of n. So a very first component 2 plus 3j would be written as 2 minus 3j, comma 3 minus 4j will be written as 3 plus 4j. After that we have 2. Thereafter I can write 3 minus 4j, and the last component is 2 minus 3j, for which I'll write complex conjugate, which is 2 plus 3j. So this is step 1. Now step 2, we will apply time reversal property. So after applying time reversal property, I need to write x conjugate of minus n. So now we have x conjugate of n, for which we have to write x conjugate of minus n. So we have to apply time reversal property. At n equal to 0 component will remain same. Is that right? And then 3 plus 4j will appear here. 2 minus 3j will appear here. 3 minus 4j will appear here. And last 2 plus 3j will appear here after time reversal property. So after time reversal property, what you have is x conjugate of minus n, which you can observe it is straight away equal to x of n. Therefore, what we can now prove that since it is satisfying this property, therefore given x of n signal or the signal which we have constructed by own is a even conjugate signal. So here I'll give you an example of odd conjugate signal, that is x of n. So let us assume signal x of n, which is a discrete time signal. If you want this x of n signal to be odd conjugate signal, then first of all, at n equal to 0, there has to be 0. I'm sure you remember this when we used to have odd property of x of n. We already stated that for all odd signals, x of n at n equal to 0 is always 0, or x of t at t equal to 0 is always 0. Therefore, I have written 0 here, but one thing we can also have here, at n equal to 0, we can also have purely imaginary value. This is the criteria at x of n at n equal to 0 position. Thereafter, let's say we have x here, let's say we have y here, and I'm sure if you remember, if it was, let's say x of n is a real signal, and let's say we are studying odd signal only, then to satisfy odd signal, you know that what should be present here? Of course, it has to be minus x. And what should be present here? Of course, it has to be minus y. Because we know that in odd signal, what really happens is whatever present at right hand side exactly equal but opposite in sign is present at left hand side. That was the rule. So just to make it not only odd but odd conjugate, I'm adding extra conjugate sign here. And then that's it. It becomes odd conjugate signal. So what is the difference between normal odd signal, that is x of n, let's say real, and what if it is odd conjugate? The only difference is having extra conjugate sign here, right? And the second difference is when x of n is a real signal, then at n equal to 0, x of n should be compulsory 0. X of n cannot be imaginary value. But here we are allowed to write imaginary value also. So I guess it would be quite clear to you only if I take a particular example. So let us begin with some example. So I'll start with n equal to 0 position. At n equal to 0 position, we can have 0 value also. Also, we can have some imaginary value. Let me assume some imaginary value like this, that is 3j. Let us assume we have 2 plus 3j here. Let us assume we have 4 minus 4j here. Is that right? So now we have to again follow the above format to make it odd conjugate signal. So first of all, I should have negative of this value as well as conjugate of the same. So first of all, what we have here is 2 plus 3j. What is negative of 2 plus 3j? Of course, it is minus 2 minus 3j. But we don't have to write only negative. Then we have to take conjugate of the component also. So negation of 2 plus 3j comes out to be minus 2 minus 3j. And then thereafter taking conjugate of the signal or conjugate of the component will get minus 2 plus 3j. Is that right? Similarly, negation of this should appear here along with the conjugate. So what is the negation of 4 minus 4j? Negation of 4 minus 4j will be minus 4 plus 4j. And thereafter taking conjugate of the signal, you'll get minus 4 minus 4j. Is that right? So now we can say that the given x of n signal, since it is following the above format, therefore x of n is odd conjugate signal. So I'm claiming that x of n is odd conjugate signal. But of course, we will prove how it is odd conjugate signal. So let us recall the property. X of n signal is odd conjugate only if x of n has to be a complex signal. Secondly, x conjugate of minus n should become minus of x of n. I can also transfer this negative sign here, that is minus of x conjugate of minus n will be x of n only. Is that right? If this property is satisfied, then I would say that it is odd conjugate signal. So to prove this, I'll be doing total 3 operations. You heard me correct? I'm going to apply 3 operations on x of n, and I'll see to it whether this property is applied or not. So what are the things we have to do? See, let's say in step number 1, we are negating x of n. Negating x of n means multiplying x of n with minus 1. Second step, we will take conjugate, and third step, we will have time reversal. Is that right? You can in fact change the sequence also. That is, you can have time reversal first, then you can go for complex conjugate, and thereafter you can have amplitude negation also. So I'm going to follow the steps. Let us go for step number 1. So what is step number 1? We have decided. So assume this x of n is given to us, on which we will be doing total 3 operations. That is amplitude reversal, conjugate of the signal, and then time reversal. Step number 1, amplitude reversal. So you know that what happens in amplitude reversal. Let us assume in discrete signal we had 5 here. After amplitude inversion it becomes minus 5. Is that right? Or if we have, let's say, 5 plus 5j, then after amplitude reversal it will become minus 5 minus 5j. So this is what is exactly meant by amplitude reversal. So let us apply amplitude reversal. So x of n will become minus of x of n. Is that right? So let us write minus of x of n. Okay, let me start with this n equal to 0 position. This will become, of course, minus 3j. Then 2 plus 3j will become minus 2 minus 3j. Then 4 minus 4j will become minus 4 plus 4j. Then concentrate on this. This is minus 2 plus 3j. So after negation, it will become 2 minus 3j. And last, minus 4 minus 4j will become 4 plus 4j. Is that right? Of course, n equal to 0 position is not going to change. It is going to remain same. In step number 2, we will have a complex conjugate. So now we will take conjugate of signal. Therefore, what we already had is minus of x of n. Now it will become minus of x conjugate of n. So let us start with n equal to 0 position. What we had here, minus 3j, this will become 3j. Concentrate on this. This is minus 2 minus 3j. This will become minus 2 plus 3j. Minus 4 plus 4j will become minus 4 minus 4j. Because while taking conjugate, we have to change the sign of only imaginary term. Real part sign will remain same. Then 2 minus 3j will have a complex conjugate as 2 plus 3j. And last, 4 plus 4j will become 4 minus 4j. Is that right? So step number 2, we have taken conjugate of the signal. Let us see what I'm going to do in step number 3. So in step number 3, we have already decided to go for time reversal property. So I'll go for time reversal property. So after time reversal property, it will become, see, originally signal was minus x conjugate of n. Now it will become minus x conjugate of minus n. Is that right? Let us write the final answer. So I'm sure what we do in time reversal, we keep n equal to 0 here only, but we are going to exchange these components, right? And this component will come here, and this component will come here. Is that right? So let us write the final result now. So as per our discussion, n equal to 0 position component will remain same, 3j. Minus 2 plus 3j will be replaced with 2 plus 3j, and minus 4j will be replaced with 4 minus 4j. Then 2 plus 3j will be replaced with minus 2 plus 3j, and finally 4 minus 4j will be replaced with minus 4 minus 4j, and this is unequal to 0 position. So see to it, this is absolutely equal to x of n. So see that we are getting back to x of n only. So even after explaining this, students have generally doubt that I have started explaining this concept with discrete time signal also, and why I'm not showing x of t signal. Or let me put this doubt in the other way. Students generally ask me, sir, we know that how even signals and odd signal really look graphically. That is, we know that when x of t, let's say if it is an even signal, then we have already seen in the graph, left hand side characteristic and right hand side characteristic are exactly same. Whereas when it comes to odd signal, the given x of t look like diagonal symmetric signal. But then it is quite difficult to really show you complex signals. I'll tell you reason why. The reason I cannot show you complex signals, because to plot complex signal we require total 3 axes. Reason: one of the axis will be required for real value, other axis will be used for imaginary value, and then we require one more axis for time also, because you know that every signal is a time dependent signal, am I right? Whether it is x of t or whether it is x of n. When it comes to continuous time signal, t is used for time, and in x of n, that is when I'm talking about discrete time signals, then I'm talking about n as independent variable. So to express complex signal, when I say complex signal, so complex signal itself will have two components inside it, that is real component and imaginary component. So we require one axis for real, one axis for imaginary, and third axis we require for showing time. Therefore it becomes really a 3D figure which we cannot show on two-dimensional plane. So that's the reason why we really don't see those signals as x of t. But it is quite easy to understand even conjugate signal and odd conjugate signal by studying them in the context of discrete time signal rather than studying them in continuous time signal. Thank you.